On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are talking about Lower Decks 504, A Farewell to Farms, right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, podcast where you right there, get to listen in on two lifelong friends, sit and chat about Star Trek. My name's Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
That he is.
Sometimes.
Good old Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, bud?
Nothing much, man. Just been busy. We have a house guest.
Yeah.
The other Star Trek Universe host, Effie.
Effie!
Is soaring with me. And,
that's super cool.
yeah, we took about a week to try to get our schedules kind of aligned. Because Effie's from the Netherlands, and it's just...
And you're from some planet where they sleep, start sleeping at 8 in the morning.
Sometimes. It just depends.
Your circadian rhythms or whatever. Circadian? I don't know.
Circadian.
Your circadian rhythms are not of this world. They don't align with the 24-hour cycle.
They're also deeply affected by my terrible anxiety.
Yeah,
and basically
that'll do it.
Anything that disrupts my anxiety.
yeah, I hear you. Well, you want to chat about this here Lower Decks episode?
Sure.
It was about the Klingons. How cool is that? I feel like this was. Is this the most Lower Decks has dived into the Klingons?
No, I mean, maybe, but...
I mean, they've had a few episodes here and there.
I mean, they added some spokes to the wheel of Klingon lore. Like,
I was wondering.
This is the first time we've seen how blood wine is made, for Christ's sake.
Oh! I did not catch that they were doing, but I knew that they were doing a take on the Picard farms or whatever.
Well, also...
those, they had the same, little, little sprinkler system looking things.
Mm-hmm. But also, you realize he was the Boimler on the Lower Decks episode where it was showing all of the different Lower Deckers from the different...
I thought it was a Klingon we'd met before, but I didn't remember from where.
Yeah, it's Mach.
Okay.
He was the Klingon Boimler, and Boimler was raised on a raisin vineyard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a fun episode. I very, very simple, Lower Deck structure, two different good A story, good B story, with the Klingons dealing with the trial, which I don't know, I enjoyed. And it's always fun to see the Federation sort of outsmart the Klingon trials that are supposed to be all about honor, but they always find some weird if you have honor, you have to follow this very specific code of honor from 4,000 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was a good time.
Yeah. I liked seeing Corin come back, explore his friendship with Mariner a little bit more.
Yeah, it was cool when she walked in the room and they were like, how do you know him? Mariner reminds me in that way of Jadzia, just I got Klingon friends, it's all good.
Definitely. I remember the last time we saw Corin, he and Mariner got drunk in the back of that shuttle, and then he stole the shuttle after pooping on his sword.
Good stuff. Oh man, you know what I thought was really funny? Last week on our episode, we talked about Targs, and I was like, and you didn't, Targ didn't hit you at first with what it was, and I was like, for a second I thought I was wrong. I was like, am I wrong about what that is? So I looked it up, and we had talked about the TNG episode where it was just a pig with fur on it and stuff. So it was really funny. We had just been talking about Targs, and this whole episode was very Targ heavy. Possibly the most Targ heavy episode in Star Trek history. Yeah,
absolutely. That was fun.
High percentage of Targ in this one.
Yeah. I knew the name Targ, but I was like, wait, was that the pig, or which one was that? Because there's like a few
Gawk
weird
is
names.
the worms. What is
Right. No, I know that.
my fiance, when she was putting up spices in our spice rack, she decided to put a few random like geeky. She knew nothing about. She's just not a geeky person. Doesn't know any of the like lore that I love or anything. And so she like searched on the internet for different things she could put up there. And one of the things she found from Star Trek Foods was Heart of Targ. And so she put little sprinkles that are just little hearts, in a seasoning container, and put Heart of Targ as the label.
That's fun.
It's fun. It's good stuff.
Yeah, my own like weird like little thing with Targ is just a weird like confusion from childhood. Like it always makes me second guess myself because I think I know that the Targ is the pig, and then like also I remember that Alexander had some kind of like gross looking fucking worm and a thing.
Well, I want to say it's from one of the original series movies. There's a Klingon with a Targ on the ship, and it does not look like a pig. It is not nearly as like pig-like. It's a lot more like monster looking.
It is monster looking, yeah. But then it's like there's just a bunch of weird stuff in there. Like it feels like if I remember correctly, Christopher Lloyd's Klingon, his Klingon calls one of the other Klingons a Targ, and I'm like, wait, what?
It's like an
is he
insult.
Just saying
I guess
he's a pig.
Yeah, basically.
Like,
I guess so.
But he's also like sitting next to a Targ,
right?
And. And also, when I was a kid, I was confused and thought one of them was a Horta, and the Horta's from The Devil in the Dark, so that's not it. It's just weird shit like that.
I just thought it was neat that we had just had a fairly extensive Targ conversation, and then that was what this episode was all about.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. Did you get the feeling, and I didn't necessarily... I wasn't confident in it, but I felt like his brother... putting the bones on the ship was very Reaver-esque and may have been
I don't know if it was
a reference.
I don't know if it was a reference, but they definitely thought about the Reavers. And then at the end, when they get on that ship and it's just like a cargo ship and they want to put bones on it, I felt very Serenity-like of like, I'm just going to start as a captain of this here like cargo freighter and go from there. It's very like you won't take the sky from me vibes for sure.
Yeah. So I read... And I wish that I knew this, but I had to read it somewhere. When the Klingons are screaming "experience beige" to each other, you remember that? Where there's like two Klingons on hover motorcycles cutting each other off or whatever, and one of them's like "experience beige," and the other one says "you experience beige."
No, I don't remember. What does it mean?
So beige means punishment. But it is a deeper reference. It is specifically a reference to a fucking board game from the 90s.
Wow.
Like a VHS board game that you like put in the VHS, and like the idea is that like Robert O'Reilly was playing this Klingon who had he's a renegade Klingon who had taken control of the Enterprise, and you're one of the few crew members left on the ship, and he's like keeps popping up on the screen and telling you a bunch of shit to do.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I definitely remember that class of board game, but I think I remember that actual game or like a commercial for that game.
So apparently he yells "experience beige" at you in that game, and that is specifically a reference to that.
That's funny. That's funny and weird. I love this. I love the writers of this show are just so deep in it that like they... that's just one of them had that and played it, and it was like I gotta include this little. I just remember like all these. I used to play a lot of Command and Conquer with my buddies, and we would just always do like one of the Russian soldiers go acknowledged, and like we would walk around the house, and someone would be like, "Hey, can you grab that from there?" Acknowledged, and just stuff like that. Those little, and I'm sure. So there's just friend groups that were just going, "Experience beige."
Yeah, and that's funny that you brought up that because earlier this week I said to Bethany, she told me something and I was like, acknowledged. She was like, what? And I was like, oh, I think it's from like Command and Conquer or some shit back in the day.
Yep. It was great. It was a great game. I pulled it up on my phone recently because I was just like, I bet this is on the phone by now. And there's a fairly, it's enough like the game that it was, but they tried to make it like a little like a game you play in 4 minutes instead of a game you play in 2 hours or whatever. But it's still like the same basic like kind of structure. And I was like, this is pretty fun. I played it once and then never loaded it up again.
Yeah,
which is what I do with video games apparently.
Yep, that's what you do.
I buy a $60 game and I play it for 1 hour and then never pick it up again. And then then I swear them off. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy any more games till I finish the ones I've got. And then 6 months later, a new Batman game, Batmans are the ones I finish. I'll say that those are the ones I finish. But all the other games, I like. Oh, all right. I did that with that Star Trek not Fleet Command. That's the mobile game. The one where you're in command of the ship, like in virtual reality, the VR game. Did you ever try that?
Mm-mm.
It is.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know.
It is very cool. Like you get to sit at a station and you work with the crew. You can sit. There's 4 stations, and you're all working the ship and discussing like what you need to do. And there's a captain, and there's it's fun.
Oh, cool.
Well, somebody's on weapons, somebody's on engines, or something like that.
Yeah, I just want to fly the ship and look at the pretty.
Yeah. That's also fun.
It's really all I care about. That's why I like that Star Trek Legacy game.
Yeah,
I don't want to make decisions.
I love a good decision.
I would start a skirmish and then just go fly off somewhere and fly around until they found me and that can warp somewhere else.
I love a good decision, but when I'm gaming, I like it when I'm playing games against other people. I want decisions. When I'm just playing a game by myself, I really just want to like consume the story and like feel cool, like the Batman games, the Spider-Man games, those types of like feel like I am Batman.
Yeah.
Somehow I got Batman Arkham games. I guess because the new one came out, they've been like a lot of Batman Arkham content making it into my YouTube feed lately. And it's just people showing off their like Arkham City skills or whatever. Yeah. And it makes me feel like I like those games, but I was not like I was not a guy who like perfected my Batman maneuvers. I was just like enjoying this, like I said, enjoying the story and feeling like I was Batman floating around, kicking people. I got pretty good at the combat, but never like, there's these people who are like showing off their skills at like entering a room and taking out all the assailants in like one motion as Batman. They're like using every gadget in their like belt, just like pop, 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 taking out this one, taking out that one. Like it's amazing.
It is. Yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff like that. Like I was the guy who wanted to play like that. Like I wouldn't like, I don't have the tactical acumen. Like my brain doesn't do that shit. Like I get very easily distracted and quickly confused. Like I enjoyed them.
I enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. I don't have the patience or the time to really like devote to it. I feel like to do that, you really have to like, really sit with it and decide like, okay, this first you take this guy out, then this guy, and then trial and error and doing all this stuff to perfect the way you're going to take down a certain level. And yeah, there's just guys like this one guy was like, this is what playing Batman is like after 1,500 plus hours. And it was just a guy showing him like just completely destroying the last level of the game in like 50 seconds because he's just so good at like going from guy to guy, taking everyone out really fast. It was very cool.
That's cool and all
game.
That. Like, yeah, it's a really fun game. I don't even like to play. I don't even like to watch the story while I'm playing the game because I don't want. By the time I get through a level, sometimes like I have forgotten the last thing that even happened or where I was. So like, I would like my perfect scenario was when I was living with Jason. Jason would play the game,
and you'd watch.
And I would either watch or just kind of float through from time to time. And then, like, I could just play whatever because he had already unlocked levels and stuff. And I could just run around the city and beat up bad guys and be like, yeah, I like this. I like this game. I like this skin, whatever.
Yeah. And, that's the best.
And then just watch the fucking story on YouTube.
I think it was because of. I know we're going way too long on the I'm talking about the Batman Arkham games because I always will, but like Arkham Knight added the Batmobile, and I don't know if I ever got a chance to show it to you, but there was a skin of the original like 1960s Batmobile or whatever.
Yeah, and you showed that to me.
And you could like do a full, like there was a racetracks you could do. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, I came over to your house one night specifically to play that. Those levels.
I vaguely remember that. Good times. Okay, so getting back to this episode, which I feel like now we're gonna have talked about Arkham more than this episode, but
oh well, not after Stu's email.
Oh well, there we go. Well, I guess we have this other storyline that we haven't talked about, the Cloacan delegation or whatever coming to. I don't even know what they were coming to do, but they're tasting Dr. Migley-Moog's food. You say you don't like Dr. Migley-Moo very much, right? Just in general.
I'm fine with Dr. Migley-Moo.
Oh, okay.
Stu hates Dr.
Stu. Sorry, I get you too confused because you look so similar.
We don't. What's funny is Stu looks a lot more like you.
Okay.
If you've ever seen him.
No, I probably have, but I don't know what he looks like. But yeah, I thought that was fun. I really liked there was a one line early in the movie. He said, "I'm more a chef of the mind," and then later it's like, "I cook the mind."
No, I always like some Paul F. Tompkins, man.
Yeah, that's Paul F. Tompkins is my jam. I was watching watched a TikTok earlier of Jonathan Frakes talking about directing the episode, the crossover episode. And he was saying, like, I got to do something on that I've never seen really done on Star Trek. And he was like, we were in the middle of this, and, like, Mariner and Boimler started riffing. And I was sitting there in a chair with the writers next to me, and I looked over and I was like, is this okay? Because, like, he was like, we didn't do that. Like, on TNG and really everything he's directed, he's like, we didn't riff. We didn't do any kind of improvisation. It was like we had to deliver the lines like the lines because it's Star Trek and there's so much lore and you can't mess things up. And he was like, we just let them go, and then we added, and then that worked and we left it in. And he was saying that like that allowed them to, and I'm sure they've got to do that on Lower Decks. Probably the tone of the show is probably somewhat improvised. I'm guessing. He was saying that after they saw them do that on Strange New Worlds, they allowed Anson Mount and like some of the other crew members to start doing that more after they sort of like, well, we're loosening it up a little bit. And like finally, like newer Star Trek is apparently allowing a little more of that like improvisational stuff to happen, which I think that sounds fun.
Maybe, but wouldn't it be awful if that bullshit Vulcan clip we saw that we hated was, indirectly caused by the riffing from Lower Decks?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I doubt
Lower Decks just ruined the Star Trek universe.
I doubt it. I think that looked like a very planned out clip with like lots of very intentional. That looked fully intentional, and it looks terrible.
Absolutely. So, my favorite bit from this episode is I see Kalis, and it's the original one who is a gifted voice mimic or whatever the hell. Like, the one that does the voice impersonations, I think is what it was saying.
Yeah. I don't get that. What is that?
It's from the original series, an episode called The Savage Curtain, where Abraham Lincoln shows up, and they go down to this planet, and
what?
These creatures are testing the crew or whatever, and they've got like Kirk and Spock and like Abraham Lincoln. It's some like good guys from history, and then they've got like they're pitting them against some bad guys from history, which is like Colonel Green from like the Third World War, and one of them is Kalis. I think it was like Genghis Khan or some stupid shit like that.
Okay,
but they're pulling them from the minds of
the crew,
right? So it's a smooth-headed Kalis, but he also is like he could like do voice impersonations and trick people.
What was it? The actor could do voice impersonations, or
no? It was like off screen. You hear Kirk or whatever, and then they run over and it's Kalis, and you're like,
oh no, that's really funny. That's really funny.
So it's a reference to the Savage Curtain. That's all it is.
That's really fun.
but now it like, we've always been able to be like, well, that was like some bullshit that was in their minds. So, but now we actually have a Klingon saying the original Kalis, the one who's a voice mimic. Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was thinking like whatever the planet was doing to generate these different characters was also generating the voices, but like, no, it sounds like That's really stupid.
It's stupid. And it's like they're taking joy in like being like, nope, I know it makes no sense that you easily found a way around that with your headcanon, but now we've made it true.
Yep, we've solidified this insane canon. I love it. I really liked my favorite bit was once they got the big Targ tied up, the judge or whatever was like, now clip his nails and express his anal glands. Like, dude, just hire a Targ groomer. This is not part of the challenge.
Yeah.
And then the farm guy was like, I have expressed many anal glands. It was really good.
It was fun.
I really liked, we calling that a beard, huh?
I do love the progression of the beard.
Me too. It's really funny. And I like that he has almost a full mustache now. He's getting there.
Mm-hmm. And he's obviously dyeing it.
Oh, it's a good point. It's a good point. I was thinking about Boimler. Like, this episode, he does seem more confident and less fearful. Like, I know he's been heading that way. The entire show has been like, he's been growing in that way. But like, it seems like his embrace of whatever he's embracing from his alternate self, he's really starting to, I don't know, like it's starting to take in his actual actions. Like him being like, unending pain. This is gonna be Klingon as hell. Like that's also a very Boimler thing to say, but like it seems like he'd still be fearful in a previous version, but he doesn't seem fearful at all.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
I did love that. I loved the opening of this episode on the Klingon vineyard.
Oh yeah, it just like the beautiful skies and like just doing this farming. It was very cool.
Yeah. Beautiful animation. Good stuff.
For sure. And just taking the ever fun step of just like completely changing up the intro for fun. I was wondering if we were even going to get the Federation this episode, since it started with just the Klingons for a little while there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was wondering, as we saw pretty early on, the Federation comm badge show up on his communicator, but then I was wondering if we were going to get our crew or not. So I was glad to see them, but I was wondering for a minute there. They had me bamboozled. Confoozled. So I like to catch me as I performatively pass out.
That was fun.
That's just a good joke. Like, it's just classic. And I liked Dr. Miglimo saying, "That's wonderful dicing, Tindy." And she's like, "Assassin's training." It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think about the very small advancement of the overarching storyline that the dimensional rifts are artificial?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Who's making these dimensional rifts, man?
I don't know, but I'm down for it. Like, I kind of feel like it would be I have different hopes and dreams, part of
we all do.
I know we just got him in Prodigy, kind of hoping it's Wesley Crusher. Ooh, or somebody related to Wesley Crusher. On the other hand, I'm always going to kind of hope it's those damn creatures from Conspiracy, because we never got an ending to that.
It feels like it would be a weird one, but I dig it.
But I think, I don't know, it would be really, really cool if it was like an imprisoned Emperor Tiberius or some shit, and they actually got William Shatner to play like a mirror universe.
Oh, that would be
Tiberius.
rad. That would be really dope. Yeah, that would be. I mean, like that would be really serving to us as fans, and like the Emperor Tiberius stuff from the books that he wrote, but also like him getting to return as one of the final bosses for Lower Decks would be really fun.
Yeah, that's like the Star Trek version of serving cunt right there. Like, absolutely, yes, sir.
What?
Just cut it.
I don't know the phrase serving cunt.
That's the thing. Like, it's a positive thing. It's like, oh, she is serving cunt. Like, that's the thing.
That's serving. I've heard serving many times. I've never heard serving cunt.
Yeah, serving is a
shortened version.
Shortened version. Yes.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. She a bad bitch, essentially.
Yeah, like I understand. I understood what the context even when you said it, but I was like, I'm assuming that's a more like an added on or a longer version of serving, but I'd never heard it before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, you want to hit Stu's feedback?
Sure. Stu sends us a message. It's titled "Beige Slap." Hello. Hey, back off my timeliness in emails. I'm not the one hogging the host body all the time. Stu, buddy. Stop.
No, don't ever stop.
Please stop. Out of respect for how sometimes I bring up things you forget, I will provide annotations where I feel it's necessary to refresh your moonshine-addled memories.
Thank you. No notes. Definitely. Thank you.
I have no moonshine.
Oh, I do.
No.
I had some this weekend.
Also, can I just say, I didn't get season arc from the mention of all the space rifts in the first episode. I just thought it was a reference to how often it happens and was even a thing in the second season of Picard without being explained.
Yeah, I didn't get Steven Arcs maybe in the first episode, but once we saw it in the next couple, that's when I knew. And now with it being in the fourth episode, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely what's going on.
Yeah. The best exotic nanite hotel. Man, real world science needs to come up with the next big thing already, because I'm getting kind of tired of nanotechnology being the go-to sci-fi story device and everything now. Note, this is a reference to the fact this episode's plot deals with a nanite cluster per the title.
I think that one we got.
I like the uncommented on visual clue that Boimler is growing a beard like his doppelganger. Note, this is a reference to the fact that the season opener saw a more successful alternate universe counterpart to Boimler who had a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Starfleet's Earth centrism is so bad, there's a ship named Manitoba. And yet he didn't give a reference to that. I needed that. One. That was the one I fucking needed, Stu.
I mean, like, I know Manitoba, Canada is a place, but like, I don't know. I have no knowledge of it being like isn't the point of the Lower Decks stuff is like a lot of the ships are named after like sort of lesser towns or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like Cerritos and all the others. No offense to any of the lesser towns out there. They're just not as big a name towns.
I mean, yeah, if it's named after someplace on Earth, then Starfleet being Earth-centered is why. You know what I was thinking is centrism as in political. That's what I was thinking. But Manitoba is a place on Earth.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Sorry. If those aliens consider the sight of eating and drinking to be so offensive, why are they hanging out at a bar? That's a good point.
That's a really good point. That, you know, don't come here just to yuck our yums, literally.
Mm-hmm. Who is that voicing Milius? Toby Huss? Khan!
Mm.
Note, this is a reference to Toby Huss being the voice of Khan, the neighbor of Hank in King of the Hill, and to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the 1982 motion picture entry in the Star Trek franchise, which features a scene where lead character James T. Kirk, portrayed by Canadian actor William Shatner, dramatically exclaims the name of the film's primary antagonist, Khan, Noonien Singh, which, despite being spelled differently, has an identical pronunciation.
All right. I appreciate his notes. So I don't think we need them for every.
No, I'm committing to the bit.
All right, here we go.
Actually, that actually was a really good Toby Huss connection.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it.
Absolutely was. Great joke. Really great joke.
Of course, I always remember Toby Huss as Artie, the strongest man
in the world. Yeah.
Farewell to farms. Is this farm the first time we've ever seen Klingon daylight in Star Trek? I can't remember a single time when it wasn't dark on Kronos. I mean,
no, I think I do remember.
We always just see dark chambers.
No. Sometimes they show like the like scape over the land when they're like landing. Yeah, and I remember there being some daylight episode like moments. Especially, I think it's especially during the Dominion War. I think we get some like episodes where they go there to like do some diplomatic stuff, and you see like the actual planet.
And like the weird digital matte paintings of the 90s.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there were a couple that happened in the daytime.
But then they're always inside of a Klingon chamber and it's dark.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Klingon chambers.
Yeah, for sure.
I will give this Meegly Mo B-plot a pass because I got to go to a Comedy Bang Bang live show a couple months ago and Paul F. Tompkins was delightful. But that's only good for 1 week. Hopefully he gets a better role in the resort sitcom show. Why do you hate Meegly Mo so much? I like the unspoken implication that Boimler has to dye his piddly mustache to match his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta dye it all.
I would hope that it's easier in the future to dye your hair.
I would hope so,
just run a laser over it.
Yeah, like, just part of your sonic shower.
Yeah.
And just like have a dial on your nipple that like clicks to the next color.
So you had to turn it into this weird body mod shit.
Uh-huh. It felt like a very Dave way to go.
I did like it.
I know. I knew as soon as that came out of my mouth. This is a very Dave. Having a nipple dial is just right up Dave's like strike zone.
I often think that I wish my nipple lactated gummy worms.
Oh gosh. Yeah, he went further. Always.
I just think about how great it would be to have gummy worms on hand at all times.
You can just buy gummy worms. Whenever you want. You're an adult.
And yet, when I see gummy worms, I go, eh.
They should really make gummy gach.
Oh, sure.
It's a great idea.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
I know.
Stu says, you experience Beige has to be the deepest cut reference they have made so far.
Totally.
You can explain that one, Stu.
Yeah, that's really funny. I feel like he's specifically not explaining the ones that it's possible we don't get.
Yeah.
Great bit, Stu.
Quote, I didn't mean to get him killed. Well, I guess that's all right then, Mariner. It's lucky this usually happens on away missions involving the Empire, so it's probably not a big deal to command. Overall, I felt the side of the story was good, and there's always a slightly more serious feel to his stuff, perhaps because of all the violence, but also the fact he's a much more serious character in terms of what he wants to do. It's interesting. The visuals in the opening of the episode also felt like it was going for some pathos with him that had me actually thinking he could have died for real at the end of the episode. It would be interesting to see where he goes after this, if there's some sort of continuation of Lower Decks, or maybe he can appear in Prodigy or something. So, yes, I thought like his fight with asshole, whatever his name was super violent, and I feel like they like got around it by making it like the old school like pink Klingon blood from Star Trek 6.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know, it was badass. Like I was cheering. You know me, American lover of violence. I was raised on the stuff. Shit's mother's milk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, hell yeah! Like, when he like stabbed him through, that was dope.
Yeah, he got him good. He got him good.
Got him. Yeah. Plus, that guy was such a dick. I was happy to see him go.
Yeah. I'm not a big violence guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I see that, I'm like, really? I mean, I know he was being a dick, but like, good Lord.
I mean, he was trying to pain stick them to death. Come on.
I know.
And he stabbed him in the back first.
Yeah. Oh, he deserved it. He earned it for sure.
Dishonorable motherfucker.
Stabbed him in the back very dishonorably for sure. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
He definitely earned his stabbing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. Come here, boy. Earn your stabbing. Stab, stab, stab.
Stand still for your stabbing.
I'm just a knife. Knifing around.
You flinch, you get stabbed twice.
That's two for flinching. Poke, poke.
Oh, that's 3 for groaning. Really, I'm just gonna keep stabbing you.
Honorable Klingons don't cry when you kill them.
I don't know why this honorable Klingon has that voice.
Yeah, he's just he's very quickly become like an old prospector.
He's very quickly become the Commence the Jiggling guy from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I was thinking like the old gold prospector with Will Ferrell on SNL, where he's like, "Oh, yeah. Peaches,
oh, peaches." All right. Well, Stu, got anything else? Is that all Stu's feedback?
That's all, Stu.
Stu,
That's
thank
all,
you.
Stu.
Thank you, Stu.
Thank you, Stu.
Oh man. Well, it was good chatting with you about Star Trek, man.
Yeah. It is like very, it's heavy on me that this is the last season. So while I liked this episode, I was also kind of like, wrap it quicker.
You want bigger swings and like wrapping characters. Did they know it was the end when they did this season?
They've said they knew.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they may have wanted for a long time to come back and do a good Klingon episode.
Also, to be fair, if I went back upon a rewatch and I was like, wait, they never wrapped anything up with Mach. I would have, because they've had him in several episodes now. Yeah.
Well, it was nice to see Mach again, and he left him off in a good place, except for his brother being like stabbed under the ship. I thought that was a weird choice.
He had his own stabbing coming to him.
Yeah.
Guy was a dick.
It's a Klingon episode. We all got stabbing coming.
He's like, I cannot move my legs.
Yeah. It is so deep. Like, dang. It's dark. And it's also dark that, like, he's yelling that and Mariner and Boimler just leave. That's exactly the moment where Federation would like oh no, jump to the help, and I know it's just a joke, but like that's the kind of thing that bothers me about Lower Decks is when that shit's happening just off screen and the Federation doesn't like jump into action, Yeah. But it is funny.
Klingons, they don't like help from the Federation because that shit is dishonorable.
It's weak. All right. Well, man, it's good chatting. We'll be back soon with more Star Trek Universe. Joel Untrue.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.